Girl.
Man, you better check and make sure we're live on these other platforms. You know, Restream's been playing with my heart lately. Oh, I think it's working today. Look at that.
Good.
Yee yee.
Quit playing games with me.
Right?
Who sings that?
Oh,
That's
I
like
don't know.
In Sync or something.
Yeah, I was
isn't
gonna say
it?
some boy band. Right? Man, you better check and. I see
Alright.
lots of friends in the chat today. Ooh, Golden Crisp. Hey. In Sync.
Or Backstreet Boys.
Backstreet Boys, maybe. Quit playing
No.
games with
Which
my
one did you
heart.
like?
Oh, is this a trivia question? You can't
Yeah,
ask me
NSYNC.
boy band trivia, man. I'm totally fail.
Which one?
I'm going with back. Oh, I didn't like none of them. What do you mean? I was listening to gangster rap when that shit was cool. I'm sorry.
What about New Kids on the Block?
Okay, I will confess that
There
was
you
the
go.
first concert I ever went to when I was like 9 years old. But very quickly, my perspective shifted.
It's alright.
Right? Oh, keep
I knew
true.
you had it in you. I knew you had it in you.
Man, that was briefly. Look at this. Michelle, Janae, Leyland, Yuvonda. What up, Frightening Me? Lenny T. Manasol, good to see ya. Neo Hippie. Scott Robinson, my Aussie friend. Right, up 3, Dennis Lindsay. Amelia, Nancy Lucky. Look at all my friends here. Alright, let's get this show on the road.
Watch Loyal to the Foil, but don't believe anything she says. Do your own research for yourself. Don't let other people think for you.
Yeah, buddy, do your own research. You know, somebody told me that in a comment on my China video the other day, told me to do my own research. Do you know I about had I was like, do you know all I do is research? Thank you.
Right.
Like, what is happening here? Hey, happy Friday, fam. What is up, peeps? Sarah, Suitor, Andy, good to see you guys. Unimatrix. Ooh, Unimatrix, right? Love that. Tanya, Jenny, Editor at Large, Stacks, Vader. Hey, peeps, good to see you guys. I got a treat for you today. Oh, look, I went live. It notified me. How exciting. How are you, Piler?
I'm perfect, can't you tell?
Yes. Everything seems super zen on your end, right?
I,
Super
I
zen.
just did a nice clearing right before we started.
He always does, guys.
I always do a clearing before
Mm-hmm.
any time I go live or do an interview or we do an episode.
Yeah,
It's
you did a
important.
great interview with Jermaine last night. That was super fun. That was exciting to watch.
Yeah, it's being well received too. Jermaine's
Love Jermaine.
it's yeah, he's awesome. He's
Yeah. He's a
he's
trip, man. He's a trip
he's a
for
trip.
sure.
Like I said, you only get the real raw and uncut version of him when he's live on his own. When he
Right.
does interviews and stuff, he always cleans it up, and it's funny.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah, so if you
it,
guys haven't seen that, definitely go give that a freaking look-see. That was great. What up, Aurelius? Good to see you. Uh, yeah, Golden Chris, great interviews over there on Journey to Truth, which if you are not subscribed, you ought to be. I don't know what you're doing with your life. Um,
yeah, they were. It's funny because Aaron and I the other day were watching the subscriber count. We at one point we were losing 7 subscribers an hour. Uh, YouTube does that. They
oh,
do
you ain't
that.
got to tell me.
But it's like they go and it'll go for so long, and all of a sudden it just goes. It's like they just start turning it down. I mean, I lost count how many times this has
Yeah, they've
happened
got
to
a
us.
FU specifically button. Boop. Somebody just waits
Yeah,
and pushes it like, haha.
and it's I'm nobody, not that many people are just unsubscribing. It's
Right.
funny. And I know because at one time I got unsubscribed 3 times in 1 month from my own channel, you know.
How does that
Uh,
work?
well, it's not technically so. Journey to Truth is separate from my YouTube account, so I'm subscribed to Journey to
Or
Truth.
you got booted from Journey to Truth from your. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
3 times in 1 month. It's funny how that works.
Yeah, they thought they weren't going to get caught, I guess.
Whatever, whatever. Well, whenever you catch on to it, so you can go in the analytics and watch, and it was just like, and even they even have the ability to take the view count and reverse it. We've watched the view count go backwards before.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah,
That's
they want, and
crazy.
then so I always wondered, and that's been happening since we started. You know, I always wonder if they never screw with that, like what our numbers are actually are,
Right?
or any channel for that matter.
Oh, listen, I pulled my analytics after that watermarks video. Like, this shit was at like 90,000 views or whatever, and then it just went. Whoop. I was like, yeah, they did not appreciate that message at all.
Right, right, right. Yeah, with what you're putting out there,
Ah, they didn't appreciate.
you should have a huge channel. Um, the information
I
you
try to bring good information, man. What
well,
up,
you
alien
do.
girl? What up, Cads?
It's too good. That's why they're stomping on
Man,
you.
right? It got. Speaking of, I did do a Russia China video the other day. You should go check it out. It's up on my
That
channel.
was that the two world order
The
video?
two world order. Yeah, not the
Yeah,
new world order. We're talking about the two world order, guys.
I
Of
like that.
course, right? Yeah. Oh, and speaking of new things, I'm gonna be doing something new. I'd like to show them, Pyler. Pyler made me the most awesome promo of promos, right? And we did put up.
Well, the first one was Foil singing. You guys all saw that.
It was a mess. Yeah,
So
Tyler's like, tell me what you want, right? Give me some ideas what you want. So I'm on the voice, in Telegram on the voice messenger, and I'm like, I want to use Carmina Burana, and I want it to be like, oh Fortuna, doom 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 doom, and I'm singing the whole thing, right? And then he sends me back a video of me singing. I'm like, yeah, that's not what I meant, but we're totally gonna put this up on the channel.
uh,
This is freaking awesome. Thank
all
you.
I did, all I did was throw it together in like 5 minutes. I just did
It
some
was
stock footage,
great.
and I just took your audio clips from Telegram and put them in there,
It was
and it's fun.
hysterical,
It's hilarious.
right? Everybody thought it was, I got nothing but good comments on that. I thought it was hysterical. Thank you, Editor at Large, for the phone. Great entertainment and knowledge, perfect for Friday night. That's what we do here. That's what we try to do here, man. But I want to show you guys the finished version. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I'm about to be doing. Then we're going to play some trivia, right? So check this shit out.
A big change coming to the state's COVID death toll. Health officials say early on they counted thousands too many.
Hello, everyone.
An independent report shows Minneapolis didn't know the protocol to call for the future where robots and humans live and work together in harmony. Decision to send in soldiers, full-functioning human-like androids. National Guard and State Patrol as part of the review.
Chocolate chip. The new video just coming in from plumes of black smoke.
Is one of the most advanced robots on the planet. A digital mind that can form thoughts.
Tonight, new images emerging from the battlefield gave no indication he intends to stop this war. Video of the moments they say they shut down a Russian
Sunday morning. Do we even got
President Trump, excuse me, Freudian slip.
bringing home the reality.
Yeah, buddy. That's awesome. That is awesome. That was awesome. Tyler did that whole video. I thought it was slick. So I'm going to be doing Apocalypse World News. I get caught black pilled all the time, so I'm just going to bring it, right? I'm just coming with all the black pill and all the woo and all I'm taking all the loosh, all of that, right? We're just going to do it up, right? We're going to talk about crazy news stories. We're going to talk about weird science. We're going to talk about prepper tips. right? Potentially the zombie apocalypse. We're covering it all. It's Apocalypse World News, man. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do like, and thank you, Life of Brian, for the shades. I'm going to do little pre-recorded segments through the week. And then I think maybe Sunday afternoons, I'm going to do an actual live stream with people. And we're going to talk about what is clearly the apocalypse, guys. I mean, come on now. This is the end. We are in the end times, man. Right?
The end of the cycle for sure.
Yeah, right. It's the rise of the Kali Yuga.
You know, it's funny because I do projects for a bunch of different content creators now. Actually, that's a little side gig I do. Hit me up if you guys want to.
Yeah, right. Hit them up. Links are in the
but
description.
sometimes it's not that fun because I'm doing stuff for businesses sometimes,
Right.
and
Gotta be all super serial.
yeah, and this one was a lot of fun. I actually, it just going through and finding all the footage. Obviously, somebody mentioned it's kind of depressing. Yeah, unfortunately, that's like, but if you look around, this is shit that's actually happening in our world right now.
Oh man, I'm gonna make the apocalypse fun, guys. I mean, come on now, it's me.
Right, we're gonna go down playing a violin like a Titanic.
Right. We're gonna be sending the memes and playing the violin as the ship is sinking, yo.
But my favorite
Matt,
part
1776. What up? Sorry, go ahead.
My favorite part was adding the audio clips of like Soros and Biden and Kamala laughing.
Right, cackling Kamala. That's great.
And then
that was great.
The Pelosi footage was actually whenever she was asked a question and she like reset.
Oh man, right.
Said,
Good morning.
Good morning. Sunday morning. Which
right?
that was actually freaky.
That was creepy.
Watching that again, it was literally like the program reset. And then the Obama footage I used was when the president's seal fell off the podium.
Right.
And so it just
yeah, it's great. Golden Crisp says, "Can I mystery science theater this shiz?" That's what I'm about to mystery science theater the apocalypse. Right, that's the plan. Right. We're making the apocalypse great again. Exactly. We're gonna MAGA the apocalypse for sure. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. I think it'll be fun. Why the hell not? Right? Why the hell not? Yeah. So what up? We got some good questions for the peeps today.
We do.
Got some interesting stuff. All right.
We do.
Well, why don't you bring it? No, you go right ahead, Tylena.
All right.
I'm ready.
Mine are never as well researched as yours, so.
Well, I am posted in front of the computer freaking 20 hours a day, so there's that.
All right. You ready?
Bring it.
An extraterrestrial woman from which planet was said to be spotted at a UFO convention at the top of Mount Palomar in the United States in 1954? A, Venus, B, Mars, C, Pluto, D, Saturn. An ET woman from which planet was said to be spotted at a UFO convention in the United States in 1954? A, Venus, B, Mars, C, Pluto, D, Saturn.
Yeah, I'm going with Venus. They always say they're from Venus, right? Isn't that how this were like Thor didn't it wouldn't it? No. Valiant Thor, he said he was from Venus,
Valiant
didn't
Thor.
he? Yeah.
Right? Yeah, of course.
I'm going
and then
with
Tesla, the literal declassified documents from the FBI say that Tesla is from Venus.
Right.
And also, apparently Elon Musk is from Venus too, and that's why he named his company Tesla to like give a nod.
That would make sense.
To let people know, like, hey, I was not born here on Earth. And naming it after Tesla is a nod to Tesla because that's where he's from also.
That would make sense. He definitely is not from here, man.
So the answer is A, Venus. Yay! And her name was Dolores Barrios. And I do have a little article on that. Let me pull it up. It was trapped in Facebook Messenger, so I couldn't get it out to share it on the screen.
Naturally.
You know how Facebook
Yes,
works.
Mary Maya, especially in the 50s. They were all from Venus at that point.
So, let me get to the good part. I'll just read this as fast as I can. The sudden rise in UFO activity reported in post-war United States defies any rational explanation following the events of Roswell in 1947, where it was reported that both a UFO and its alien occupants had been recovered by the U.S. government. There was a sudden surge in UFO sightings, which would last for decades to come. These unexplained incidents entered the public consciousness, and those who claimed personal experience became celebrities. UFO conventions featuring these people proved to be very profitable as the general public's fascination with alien contact grew. But nobody who attended these conferences really expected to meet an alien there, no matter how much they believed in what they were seeing. However, that might just be what happened at one such convention at the top of Mount Palomar in the United States in August 1954. I'm just trying to get to the, okay. During the convention, attendees spotted an extraordinary presence of a beautiful woman in the company of two men at the end of the first day. Their presence walking through the crowds caused a commotion. The three were fair-skinned. The woman wore her hair in a blonde bob, but her eyes were dark and fierce. The woman was characterized as having unusual physical features, including a projecting bone structure in the middle of her forehead that extended vertically to her nose and deep black eyes with thick eyelashes. Adamski, who was another contactee at the time, has given a talk earlier in the day where he had described aliens from the planet Venus who seek to blend in and walk among us. The appearance of the three strangers matched those of the Venusians as described by the speaker just hours earlier. News of the three spread like wildfire, and the audience asked, are you Venusians or are you not? And they said no, and smiled. And it just goes on and on. But it's fascinating. And I don't think it's impossible that was the case.
Well, in the 50s, I mean, their stage makeup probably wasn't, I mean, like if you were up close, you probably would have been able to tell if it was like some kind of a hoax, right? I mean, maybe.
Right.
So maybe, it must have been pretty convincing. Pilled by the Rabbit, hello, says when they say that they're from Venus, they're actually most likely from subterranean Earth.
That's a good point. And I've also heard that Venus and like the Pleiades are also like the fall guy for planets because nobody wants to admit their origin. They don't want to give away where they're actually from for whatever reason. So they just say I'm from Venus or from the Pleiades.
I mean, that seems like basic OPSEC,
Right. So if
probably not going to say where you're actually coming from.
Right. Exactly. Like, why would you give away that information?
Right.
I do have a picture of this girl real quick if you want to see it.
Yeah, if you can.
Yeah, I
got the
just airdropped it to my.
There you go.
I don't know. I asked you.
Frightening Me says Jack Parsons did the Babylon working and opened a portal in New Mexico in 1947. Yes. Yeah. What's the show that they did about him? Love, Sex, and Rockets. Is that right? Wait, let me get us out of the way here. Oh, wait, isn't this? This wasn't one of the chicks that got man, she looks. No, who am I thinking of?
You're thinking of like Maria or
yeah. That's who I was thinking of. Yeah, she does have a weird ridge in her forehead.
Dolores Barrios or something. Look at those people wearing tinfoil hats on the right.
Why are they shaped?
I just noticed that.
Why are they shaped like that?
That was the style back then.
That was the 1950s tinfoil hat look.
Right, but apparently this is the girl.
Well, I'm convinced. Right. I'm sold. Clearly.
Just that easy. I'm convinced.
Yep, that's it.
Say no more.
It's done for me. Speaking of weird stuff, I got a lot of weird questions today for us. Speaking of aliens, somewhat. So this is interesting, and I did not know this. The wife and the two teen children of the sailor that investigated the Nimitz incident. This is one of the Tic Tac incidents, right? So yeah. The wife and the two teen children of the sailor that investigated the Nimitz incident claim to have seen what staring into their Virginia home on 2 occasions.
Ooh.
Right? This is the wife and the kids, right? Was it A, the men in black, B, gray aliens, C, a werewolf, or D, the Mothman?
I don't know. I want to say the Greys, but I'm thinking it could be the Mothman too.
Right?
Read
Yes, Alien
read it.
Girl, that was the alleged Venusian, right?
Read them again. The answers.
Okay, so I'm going to just read the whole thing in. The wife and the two teen children of the sailor that investigated the Nimitz incident claimed to have seen what staring into their Virginia home on 2 occasions? Was it A, the men in black, B, the gray aliens, C, a werewolf, or D, the Mothman?
I'm gonna go with B, but it could be the Mothman.
They were in
We
Virginia.
I just went to our local MUFON meeting
Oh,
Wednesday
did you
night.
go?
I went. This is because Margie K. She's an awesome remote viewer, and she was doing some. A lot of the investigations lately are turning super paranormal. Like people are having wild. Like she's been in Missouri. She's been investigating Mothman sightings in particular again. Um, what else? Fairies. She literally had to go investigate these people that were having this crazy fairy activity, and it was multiple witnesses in this park, miles apart. People were claiming to see fairies, and she went. And she says that she literally saw 3 10-inch fairies. Who knows if she's lying or not? But I don't think she was
Did you ever
lying.
see
That's
the
what she.
video of the old guy in England that
Mhm.
set up the cameras and he just sits there and he got was that ever debunked?
I
You
don't
know?
know, but he said he has pictures, photographs of what look exactly like fairies, and I know those are legit photos.
Man,
So
right?
um,
I'm sold on that one too,
yeah.
right?
Anyway, what's the answer?
So, guy, I see all over the board here. Yeah, guys, it's actually a werewolf of all things, right?
Really?
Okay, so listen, so this is crazy. So the people that were like investigating these reports that came out recently from the government, this isn't the only weird thing that has happened. So in Oregon, another guy that was involved said that his health deteriorated after a glowing blue orb passed through his body. A family in California that was tied somehow to these guys uh, reported strange lights and a gray figure with spindly legs in their orchard, and then this werewolf-like creature allegedly was prowling around the homes in the area in suburban Virginia, right? So all 3 of these incidents were actually probed also as a part of a Pentagon program investigating the unexplained. They could say UFOs in the article here. And it was contracted by the Defense Intelligence Agency, right? So specifically with regard to the Nimitz investigation and the UFO program, because at the time it was what, ATIP, I think, was what it would have been classified, right? So this
Right.
guy, James Lataski, worked with this other guy, Colm Keller, right? And this was a contractor that ran the daily operations, right? Keller was trained in Ireland like as a biochemist, so cancer researcher, respectable guy. He had actually spent years working for Robert Bigelow, right? We know about Bigelow.
Mhm.
Uh, Obviously, and then prior to him coming to work for the DIA, Keller and Bigelow had this history of investigating UFOs, paranormal phenomena, whatever. And we know that Bigelow Aerospace was the lead contractor on the DIA program that was initially called the Advanced Aerospace Weapons System Application Program and then broken down into ATIP, right? So,
Oh.
yeah, apparently there's a whole there was a bigger program, and then ATIP was a smaller program that
Mhm.
only got the 22 million bucks or something. So, uh, there were 3 active duty service members, and obviously they're not given names, that were concealed by researchers at the Defense Department. They also allegedly witnessed a black void on the land that had these weird things going on around it, right? And then they were just all experiencing paranormal activity after going home. Like I said, the orbs, they were seeing dark figures in their bedrooms at night. The family of the one saw a werewolf, like it was crazy, right? Um, yeah, I don't know. In
I don't
early,
know.
go
I,
ahead.
I was just saying, I don't know what would be scariest to see through your window of all of your options. Every one of them would be just as frightening for a different reason.
Bruh, right? Right? But I mean, just these guys were all tied to Bigelow, right? And then they mention, and you know, apparently after the Nimitz investigation, the sailor and 2 different Marines were sent to Skinwalker Ranch, right? We know that that's crazy.
Yeah,
Uh, where they continued to investigate paranormal. It sounds like the stuff followed them, you know.
could be.
I don't know. But yeah, the wife and the 2 teen children of one of these guys saw, reported a werewolf. And apparently there were other people in the neighborhood that said that they saw something creeping around the neighborhood as well, which is
Right.
crazy.
So you think they went to Skinwalker and brought this thing, followed
I
them
don't
back?
know. I don't.
Well,
You're
it's
investigating.
possible.
Yeah, I mean, if you're investigating weird shit, and then suddenly you're across the country and weird shit is happening to you,
Right.
maybe.
I
Or
learned the
you
hard
have some
way.
kind of a beacon, like, here I
I learned the
am.
hard I learned the hard way going to a paranormal investigation. One night we went, there's a cave, Onondaga Cave, about an hour from my house, a little further maybe. And there was a group of 12 people. We went and did a paranormal investigation in the cave at night. They opened it up after hours. So we didn't get in the cave until like 8 or 9 o'clock at night. And they let us roam so these caves you usually have to go, you're taken on a tour, right? Well, they just let us roam. They let us go in all the areas where we didn't have to stay in the walkway. And they had the lights in the cave turned off also. So it's literally pitch black unless you have your own light. And we had all kinds of orb activities, whistling sounds, all kinds of different noises. You felt like energies. It was wild. It was awesome actually. But then I literally picked up an entity on the way home. I felt this thing like come into me, and I almost had to stop my vehicle. I got super nauseous. I was going to meet up with some friends. I had to go home. It took me out, and I eventually had this thing removed in a Reiki session a couple days later. But no joke, like if you're not careful with what you're doing, you could these things could follow you back home. And if like whatever they're doing at Skinwalker, something like that could have happened also.
I have a couple of stories for you. I've had shit follow me. When I was younger and we went, urban exploring to an old asylum. And then when we left, like I felt weird when I was there. And then for days after we left, but I have issues anyway. Shit was extremely weird when I got home. But even stranger than that, and I'll tell you a story about my mother. Okay, my mother, man, my mother, like I see things sometimes, but my mother could see things, right?
Mhm.
So when I was looking at colleges, it, being from Louisiana, now I didn't live in New Orleans at the time, but we had gone down to stay, and so I could look at Tulane, which is where I ended up going. But in any case, we went down there, and I'm looking at Tulane, and we were staying in a hotel, and we, hanging out in the city or whatever. So I had convinced my mother that I wanted to go on one of these paranormal tours, but not like the one where they just walk around and they'll tell you like, this is, such and such a house, and so died here, and the ghost you can see in the, like, none of that. There was
Mhm.
a there was a tour where they would take you into places, right? And they would bring along scientific equipment. They, take temperature readings. They'd get, different kind. They teach you. They taught you how to sit down and clear your mind or whatever, like
Mhm.
to listen. They would take you into a place, and you would take all of these readings. Then you would sit down and have this little meditation session, and the guy that was leading the tour would see if you could tell them what you thought had happened there, and then he would tell you what happened in the place. So we go to this hotel, and they've got us in a conference room, right? And this is in the French Quarter of New Orleans at the time. And I'm not gonna lie, my mother was shit faced drunk, okay, at the time. So we get into this conference room, and she is sitting there, and we're to the point where we're doing the little meditation thing, right? And she goes quiet. Now I think she's passed out. We're supposed to be sitting there clearing our minds. My mother starts choking, coughing. She's like, "It's hot in here. It's hot in here." And she's telling us that she can smell smoke, right? She hears little kids crying, like something. The place is on fire. This is on fire. We got to get out of here. And she's like, I don't know. I thought she was drunk, right? And I'm like looking at her like, damn, man, what is happening? The dude is sitting there with his mouth open. And she starts talking to somebody, and she's describing this girl. She's like, she's in a blue dress. She's got blonde hair. It's in curls. She's got this little rabbit with her. Like, she's telling the guy, and the dude is literally sitting there. You can see his hands are getting agitated and shit. And when she stops talking, the dude is like, "Oh my God." He said, "I've never had this happen." He said, "This now it's a conference room in a hotel, but before it was built on the site that used to be an orphanage, right?" And she's talking. My mother had the whole thing nailed. Like, she's talking about how he tells us on Christmas Day, the place had caught on fire. There were kids locked in what was like a gathering room, which is where the conference room was at the time. that they had died, and that people had reported seeing this girl in a blue dress. My mother's having a full-on conversation with this kid. We leave, right? Because this is the last of, like, I think 3 places that we went. We leave, and the dude is like, tell him, I'm like, well, that was something, like, whatever. And I'm like, oh, wow, okay.
Yeah.
We leave. We're going to the trolley. She is talking to this girl the whole way to the trolley. You can't come with me. I have a daughter. I'm with my daughter. You need to go find your mother. Telling her, like, you need to, it's okay for you to leave now. Like, it's okay for you to, like, and I was only like 17 at the time. I was totally freaked, right?
Right.
So things will follow you. Long story
Yeah.
short, shit will follow you, especially if you sit there and are intentionally trying to interact with stuff. Like, she had just opened her mind up, and she was drunk, so I imagine it was a whole lot easier. And it was wild. Like, that shit was wild. That's the story about my mother, guys.
That's pretty, same thing with like CE5s when people are trying to call in ETs and UFOs or whatever. Just be careful. Protection, all the above. Wear a condom.
Right. Definitely wear an energy condom at least.
Yeah.
Right. It was crazy. It was crazy.
Man, I'm going to start, patent that.
Energy condom, right? Yeah. Got to wear an energy condom. Cloud Watch, what do you guys have questions about? Never mind.
All right, ready?
Bring it.
You might even have a question about this because I know you, but this is recent. On March 7th, 2022, the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, approved an experimental use permit amendment for the Oxitec Corporation to release 2 billion more genetically modified what? A, spiders, B, mosquitoes, C, pigeons, D, bats.
You want me to answer this? Mosquitoes.
No, because you know. Well, that's fine. Just gave it away. On March 7th, 2022, the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, approved an experimental use permit amendment for Oxitec Corporation, which is primarily funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation.
Yes, it is.
To release 2 billion more. That's the key word. 2 billion more genetically modified what? A, spiders, B, mosquitoes, C, pigeons, D, bats. It looks like everybody knows the answer to this, which I figured because it's current news. But yes.
I've been big pissed about them and their mosquito shenanigans for a while.
Right. But do you notice how they just slip in the word more?
Mm-hmm. Well, they had gotten approval. I don't know what all you have. Go ahead, tell your thing, and then I'll.
Well, I'm just okay. Well, let me pull it up here. I mean, what the main information is just what you're going to find in an mainstream article, but I think it's curious. 2 billion more. But how many did they release to start with without telling people? Right. And it might be somewhere out there where they've told us. Testing these organisms has been ongoing over the past several years. This new permit simply extends the testing of the mosquitoes. So like they just kind of slip it in like, yeah, we've been doing this forever, but we're letting you know now we're releasing 2 billion more mosquitoes. So then to add to that, in Australia, they have what is a mosquito-borne virus now called the Japanese encephalitis. What you need to know about vaccines for the mosquito-borne virus, the Japanese encephalitis. So these mosquitoes over there carrying this virus now that they're trying to push a new vaccine for. Mm-hmm. So they tell you that they're releasing 2 billion genetically modified mosquitoes. And right after that, all of a sudden there's a mosquito-borne virus in Australia, Japanese encephalitis, and all of a sudden they're already creating a vaccine for that virus.
Ta-da!
Fuck. What the fuck? Like,
all right, so here, and what up, Thumper Rose? Thumper says Putin revealed the biolabs were studying insect and bird-carrying pathogens. No doubt. Here's the deal. They had initially said that they were going to be releasing these things in Florida and Texas, okay, in the U.S. But before that, right, a couple of years ago, I came across information about Oxitec, which Bill Gates was working with Harvard via Oxitec. They released these genetically modified mosquitoes in Brazil. And the idea was, allegedly, that they had altered the genome enough to where these mosquitoes would be reproductively weak, that they would die off faster, unable to mate, and that way it would decrease the amount of malaria that they could potentially spread. Well, what had happened was, right, they released these mosquitoes that bred with the native population, and instead of making some reproductively weak subspecies, these motherfuckers made super mosquitoes, right? It was damn near impossible to kill or control these things.
Like
all right.
a Ninja Turtle.
Okay, so then, like 2 years later, I start seeing articles that Oxitec's about to release these mosquitoes, and I'm like, are y'all high? Like, did you not read what had happened in Brazil? Do you think you got that fixed? Like, what do you think is going to happen when you're just genetically modifying organisms and just releasing them into the world? Like, come on, man. Like, come on.
Is that ever a good idea? Well, they know it's not a good idea, obviously.
Right,
if ethical people are running things, this stuff doesn't happen.
And you're talking about Japanese, like, listen, over here, right? Mosquitoes are already spreading West Nile, Zika, equine encephalitis, all manner of shenanigans, right? So just, by all means, Bill Gates, continue with your shit. Like, it's ridiculous.
Michelle Janae said, time to grow citronella. Yeah,
man, right?
Just start planting. Actually, that's not a bad idea. I'm gonna go plant some of that.
Yeah, probably not.
All around my yard.
Alara has made like these oils that she keeps outside. Like, if you go outside, you got to put this on, man. We got lemongrass, and it's got, I don't know, whatever the hell she puts in it, like stuff to make the mosquitoes go away. Right? It's something.
Yeah.
Right? What up, Divine Fractal? Good to see you, Suitor.
They don't fuck around. All right, what do you got next?
Matt, so this is interesting. And I'm so glad you guys are here with us tonight. Thanks for coming to hang out, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah. What up? And I didn't even say hi to the DLive fam, the Twitch fam, the Rokfin fam. Of course, our Foxhole peeps and our YouTube peeps are here with us. We love you.
Real quick announcement before you start. I just saw Yuvonda's name. Yuvonda is going to be at our conference, but she is also going to be a vendor now. And she will have her products that she'll be selling at the conference. So if you're coming, you get to take advantage of
listen,
looking at your products in
Yuvonda makes the most awesome wands. I've got a whole collection of them here now. Look at these. These are awesome.
More than that too, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Pyramids. You do have a whole collection. Holy cow.
Yeah, I do. I got a whole collection of them. Yeah, she makes all. She sent me a red pill pyramid, which is awesome. Like, I had the tinfoil hat pyramid. Now I got a red pill pyramid. Guys, her link is in the description on YouTube to her Etsy page.
Yeah, absolutely. Go check out her products. They're awesome.
What up, Bram?
Go ahead with your question.
Okay, so this is a weird one. I had no idea about any of this, right? Okay. In the 1960s, scientists all over the world, but particularly in France and Spain, started receiving strange letters and phone calls that allegedly came from whom? Okay, was it A, time travelers from the year 2761, B, a Vatican whistleblower that had info on the chronovisor and other secret holdings, C, a U.S. intelligence official with information on an experimental weapon, or D, aliens from the planet Umo?
Will you please read the question again?
I will read it again, right? Yuvonda Golden Crisp says hi. Cross-platform, right? Okay, so in the 1960s, scientists all over the world, but particularly in France and Spain, started getting really strange letters and phone calls that allegedly came from whom? Was it A, time travelers from the year 2761, B, a Vatican whistleblower that had info on the chronovisor and some other stuff, C, a U.S. intelligence official with information on an experimental weapon, or D, aliens from the planet Umo?
D.
Final answer?
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm seeing B's and A's and C's and D's, right? Alien Girl, if you can't make it to the conference, there is a live stream. If you go to secretspaceconference.info, all the information is there for you.
And if you have a screen name Alien Girl, I feel like you'll just manifest a way to make it to the
There you
conference.
go. Right.
Because
Alien Girl should definitely be there. Let's see. I got a lot of people going with B, going with the Vatican. Frightening Me says A. Frightening Me is usually right. You sure you want to keep your answer?
I don't really care if I'm wrong, so no, it doesn't matter.
All right. Well, in this case, Tyler, you are correct. It is aliens from the planet Umo.
Trying to trick me out of my right
I
answer.
wasn't trying to trick you, right?
The reason I chose that because Umo is such a specific planet name that I didn't think you would make up.
This is weird. Okay, and I've got it up on the screen so you guys can see this, right? So this all started with like 20 public figures receiving letters, right? They all had the same strange emblem on them. You can see it in the center of the screen, right? Other people were getting these mysterious phone calls at the same time. There were these synthetic voices explaining that they were from the planet Umo, orbiting the sun Iuma, right, which is apparently 14.6 light years from Earth, and we call it Wolf 424. So, Bran, this is your planet, right? They were precisely answering every question that was posed to them in the most diverse fields of knowledge for hours at a time, right? One of the recipients of these letters, which was an actual UFO researcher, Professor Fernando Sesma, collected everything that he could, right, from all around, from all these scientists that were getting these phone calls. He wrote a book about it called Umo, Another Inhabited Planet. So 2 years after this started, the letters, all of which, like I said, had this weird-ass symbol on them, and they were coming not only from Spain, but from Paris. There were some in Buenos Aires, New York, Adelaide, East Berlin, West Berlin, London. Like, they were from all over the place. They all look like they came from the same sender, right? Let me see. Right now,
I've seen that symbol before.
isn't it weird?
I think I've drawn that symbol before.
Oh, Lord, Tyler. Are you from...
I'm not joking. It's doing something to me. I'm getting triggered. I just had to draw it again, but go ahead, continue.
Okay, so according to the letters, on March 28th of 1950, the first Umo spaceship landed in the French foothills of the Alps, right? Signals sent out by a Norwegian ship in geophysical experiment in 1934 were received by Umo 14.6 years later and interpreted as radio signals of intelligent origin, allegedly. So, of course, there are people that have called this a hoax. But in the entire time, there were apparently 1,500 typewriter typed pages that they were able to gather and and put together, and they explained these like highly complex relationships that were illuminating even to the scientists that were trying to talk to these things. So apparently, the ETs omitted any concrete information that could lead to their discovery, or to the development of their technology by mankind. Right? And these letters form the basis of what they now refer to as the Umo affair. Okay? So what is crazy is like these aliens were questioned on tech, right? And they had explained stuff that was well beyond our understanding. Okay? Things about our computers. They also described how they had stored information in these like titanium cubes. They had stored their own information in there, right? And I mean, they explain it. Apparently, these cubes can store like exabytes of information. There were a lot of sightings by these scientists while they were getting these phone calls, like they would see stuff in the sky or whatever. In October of 1989, hundreds of residents of Voronezh watched the landing of some kind of spaceship in a city park. This is why I'm always saying we should talk about like Russian UFO sightings, because they've got to have some great info if we can ever get it out of there, right? Where actually humanoid beings had gotten out and walked around the city. That symbol was on the spaceship that landed there, apparently. And I mean, this was reported by like hundreds of people. 500 people made a report on this. So in 1980, when Antonio Ribeiro was working on a documentary film about the Umo affair, he got a phone call, right? And they suggested to him how to close the documentary out. And this is what they said. For 30 years, we've been studying your sciences, your culture, your history, and your civilizations. We brought all this information from your Earth to the planet Umo and stored it there in our titanium crystals. We have shown you our culture and technology in a purely descriptive form so that you cannot convert it or adopt it blindly. We've done this because we are saddened to learn that you use your science primarily for war and destruction. You're like children playing with terrible and dangerous toys that will destroy you. We can't do anything about it, they said. A cosmic law says that each world must go its own way, whether it survives or perishes. You chose the second option. You're destroying your planet, wiping out its species, poisoning your atmospheres and seas until now beyond repair. It is with sadness that we see your madness and understand that the enemy is only within you. We cannot predict your future. Your psychics act completely unpredictably and capers that border on paranoia. As your older brothers in the universe, we sincerely desire your salvation. Do not destroy your beautiful blue planet, a rare atmospheric world that glides through space so majestically, so full of life. It's your choice. So, like many other messages received from aliens, they tell you.
We were beyond repair in 1980.
Yeah, well, they said until recently you were doing things without being able to repair it. Like,
oh, okay.
You know, I mean, this was some years ago
Right,
or whatever.
right.
So, like, but they said it's our choice. But I mean, this is like a common message we get from the aliens, right? Like, you guys are down here mucking stuff up,
Right.
like knock it off, right? But
Somebody said that symbol's the letter Z, Russian letter Z.
Oh dear God!
But it could just be, I don't know, but that's what somebody said. Well, it depends on how you draw it, because the way it is in the print looks different than it does on that little document there. Anyway.
Well, I guess this is one of the letters to the left where it's kind of indented, like.
Right. Yeah. That looks more like what I would draw than what I'm seeing on this printed thing.
I don't know. Wow. I had never heard about the aliens.
I had never heard of. Me neither. This is new to me.
New information, right? That's what we do here, guys. We bring you new weird shit to ponder on.
Right.
Right. What up, Wonder Mod? Good to see ya.
Umo.
Right? All right. The planet Umo. Wait, were any of you guys familiar with this story? Why did they target the Spanish and French? Bad cheese.
I thought you were getting ready to ask them if are any of you guys from Umo?
Right. Do we have anybody from Umo watching the show tonight? Please, shoot me a line. Love to talk to you.
Yuvonda says, Tyler Kiwala, you have German language knowledge. Probably. I'm part German. Part Italian, part Hungarian, actually.
It's all about the Italian, fam.
Part Lyrian, Syrian, Pleiadian, Umoian.
Umoian, right?
All right, you ready for the next question?
Yeah, bring it.
According to Drunvalo Melchizedek, the sunken island chain that once spanned from Hawaii to Easter Island was actually the location of which long-lost civilization? A. Atlantis. B. Tartaria. C. Lemuria. D. Agartha. According to Drunvalo Melchizedek, the sunken island chain that once spanned from Hawaii to Easter Island was actually the location of which long-lost civilization? A. Atlantis. B. Tartaria. C. Lemuria. D. Agartha.
I don't know. I'm going to go with C.
We got C's coming in hot right now.
Right. Going with C.
C. Lots of C's. The answer is C. Lemuria. So that information comes from that book, The Ancient Secret of the Flower of Life. I know I've talked about this before on this show, so maybe people remember that. But it just I was reminded of it again whenever Jermaine was, when he was on the show and he had the chart.
Oh, I saw that.
Mm-hmm. He was breaking down like the different portal systems and how it worked, but then there was a list of portals that led to Inner Earth. One was on Hawaii, one was on Easter Island. They both were apparently Inner Earth portals. And it's interesting to me that, according to Drunvalo, that entire island chain was once Lemuria, and these advanced beings live there. And why did the rest of it all sink except for the two with the portals apparently are still above water. Like, what's going on there?
Right.
Were they using
Do,
these
do, do,
portals
do.
to go in and out of inner Earth? I don't know, but you can actually look at a topographical map and see the sunken island chain visibly, like it's on any map. It's you can legitimately see that there was once islands there. They were above water. So, and according to him, that was Lemuria, and they had the foresight that they knew like some flood was coming, so they left before they were ever
Dipped
even
out.
flooded.
Right. Yeah.
And then,
Right. Like.
and where they went to was allegedly Atlantis. And then once Atlantis
Yeah.
fell,
So they left Lemuria and went to it. Like that was probably a bad
right,
decision.
and then once Atlantis fell, a lot of those people resided in Egypt, and then there's a whole story that goes there. But I just found that interesting
Yeah.
because
Those
there
portals are all
was in
over the
fact
place.
there was in fact a landmass there. So if that was once inhabited, imagine. Okay, we have ancient structures on Hawaii and Easter Island, like the Moai, the fantastic
Hmm.
structures. What is sunken? What kind of structures is on those sunken islands?
Well, I
What's
mean,
down?
the
Yeah,
Moai, you see the heads, but the things are
yeah, massive.
way bigger, and they must have sat on the foundation that was current at the time. I wonder what else is
Well, and they
on an equal
also
plane with those things.
and they have no idea how those statues got there because of the stone and like where did they come from in the middle of this tiny island you barely even see on the map, unless there is in fact a portal there, some sort of a portal, and who knows.
Man, it's crazy stuff for sure. That chart that he had up also looked like man,
Tree of
something that
life.
I've seen, the Tree of Life, yes, but also I've seen that same setup used in Kabbalah. I've seen it in the Lesser Key of Solomon. Like it's
Yeah.
used, you know,
The
in weird
Templar,
things
yeah,
throughout history,
yeah.
obviously.
Well, that's something about that symbol is like sacred or has like universal law or codes in it or whatever. I don't understand it, but like if you take
It could just be a
Shakespeare,
map to the portals, man. That would make
right?
sense.
Could be. It could be a portal map, but it's used like in apparently in Shakespeare's writings. If you take that map and place it over some of his original writings, like where the circles are, the words that are highlighted, like it's a secret message. Um, I don't know. It's just
I
interesting
don't, right? Could
how it was
be.
used all throughout history. Yeah.
Could be. You know, I love some woo. Guys, and if you love woo, and if you like the channel and want to help support the channel, you can donate directly at loyal2thefoil.com, or my Cash App is in the description below. As always, gold pills are appreciated. Much love to you guys, and that's enough of that. Yeah, so I've got another weird question about some underground things. Okay. Um, so there was a guy in 1963 in Turkey that was knocking down a wall in his basement.
Ooh, I already like this.
What did he find? Okay. Was it A, mummified humanoid, B, an entrance to an underground city, C, the Spear of Destiny, or D, 30 kilos of opium?
I'm gonna go with the entrance to the underground city because that would make a cool story.
Wouldn't that make a cool story?
I told my stepdad that the other day. He goes, he tried calling me and I didn't answer. So I finally called him back. He's like, "Yeah, what were you doing?" I was like, "Yeah, sorry, I was busy." I said, "I found a hidden entrance to an underground tunnel system in my basement. And I went exploring and I found these ancient giants and they started chasing me and I got lost in this
It
labyrinth
happens,
and I was like, I don't even know how I made it back home. I was
right?
just totally fucking with him. And but I was so serious the way I said it. It's like, I don't even know how I made it back home, but thank God I did. And he was just silent. And he just goes, he's like, were you dreaming? I was like, no, like he didn't know what to say. He's like, what
Right,
were you dreaming? Like,
right. What do
what?
you say to that? Oh, like,
Yeah.
okay, right. Chasing, getting chased, right?
It was
Cedarbug says
hilarious.
opium or spear, right? So yeah, Tyler, he did find an entrance to an underground city.
Boom.
Right, and it's crazy, right? So this guy, he was in the Turkish town of Derinkuyu, right? And smashing out a wall with a sledgehammer in his basement. So behind the wall, thank you, T. Roy Cooks, for the can. Behind the wall, he finds a tunnel, right? And that tunnel leads to more tunnels. And those tunnels lead to more tunnels. The dude was tripping, right? Eventually, they figured out this was a huge underground complex. It was abandoned by the inhabitants. It was undiscovered until the 1960s, 1963. Um, this thing was like 18 stories, it was like 280 feet deep. It was large enough to house 20,000 people. They do not know who built it or why, right? Um, they think, okay, so this Darren Kuyu place is located in Cappadocia, right? So already the landscape there has all of these crags. It's dotted with what they call fairy chimneys, like tall stone towers that come from like rock erosion or whatever. The rock there is known as tuff. It's like made out of volcanic ash, but it's really
Are
easy to get into,
are
right?
there are there photos of this underground
Man,
city?
uh
I remember seeing something about an underground city that was found in Turkey on some documentary,
let me see
and
if I
it
can.
was super impressive, and it looked really ancient. And I don't know if this is something like that or not. Anyway, you
Yes.
can continue.
Yes, there are. And as a matter of fact, I have them up on the screen when you can see. This is actually kind of wild. All right. So since it's in Cappadocia, right, they knew that like the landscape was good for this kind of hollowing out of the rock. Um, Again, they don't know when it started. They know for sure that at some point, Christians had inhabited it, maybe in
Hmm.
like the sixth
That's
century,
that's what I saw. Yeah.
but it was already there, is the
Hmm.
thing. Like they just
Yeah, it's
inhabited what
ancient.
was already there. Right.
It's ancient.
Yes,
Yeah. Actually,
exactly.
it was on Ancient Aliens where I seen this.
Ah, well, that would make sense. They're, of course they're saying maybe the Phrygians did it, I don't know, the Hittites maybe, like they don't know who did it or whatever. They don't know what it was down there for. They think that maybe the people were able to go down there and hide from like invading hordes or whatever. But as to where it came from, nobody really knows. And it is interesting. Can you imagine living underground? I mean, this thing had like I don't know, 15,000 shafts that were like 10 centimeters wide that acted as like vents. And then you could dig down and there were wells down there, like still had water, like just wild stuff,
Right.
man. I would live
You know,
down there. It looks
there's
kind
a
of awesome.
massive there's a massive tunnel system under St. Louis, and it goes and it leads to some of these old homes. Their basements actually lead to this tunnel system. And years ago, my friend's mom was working at this like retirement home or nursing home not far from my house, and they would store the food in the basement, for the chefs and stuff. They had this basement room where they would store the food, and they would come in the morning, and the food would be gone, and they couldn't figure out who was breaking in and stealing the food. Well, it turned out that one of the houses nearby knew they had this tunnel, they had an entrance to this tunnel in their basement, and it led to underneath of this retirement home. There's like a hidden door. And this person, they finally set up a camera or something. I don't know how they caught them, but they found out that these people were literally coming
Coming
in
from,
from the
oh
tunnel system
Lord,
and stealing the food and bringing it home. Like it's
Lord. There's a
yeah,
big, well, you've talked about the underground stuff in St. Louis before. There are
right.
like entire there's an entire city beneath the city, yeah? Like I mean there are businesses there
In St. Louis.
still, yes.
I don't know about still. There used to be.
Where is the
If,
place where you can literally drive into it? And there
oh,
are
that's Rock City. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's actually right over in Illinois, but it's still about 30 minutes from
I
my
gotcha.
house.
I gotcha. Yeah, there was
Because we're right on the border. Yeah, that's actually far more vast. I'm finding out more about that place, and it is way more than we would ever imagine. There's some crazy stuff going on there.
well, at least you guys have like a reasonable shelter, in the event of craziness that you can go
Right,
down, right? Beneath the city.
right. Well,
We'd be totally screwed here.
it's literally millions of square miles, like 80 million square miles or something of what's advertised. And businesses can actually lease out spaces down there, and you can like, and it's crazy.
I
And
believe that.
it's Rock City in Belmire, Illinois. If anybody wants to look it up, It's where all the national archives for the personal data and records on every human in the United States is stored.
That's awesome. All right.
Yeah.
I wonder what else is down there. All kind of weird shit, I'm sure.
Is it my turn or your turn?
It's your turn, fam.
Hang on a second. In 2021, on what continent did researchers film what they are calling the most credible Sasquatch footage ever captured? In 2021, on which continent did researchers film what they are calling the most credible Sasquatch footage ever captured? A, Africa, B, North America, C, Asia, D, Australia.
Australia.
A, Africa, B, North America, C, Asia, D, Australia.
Yeah,
2021. This is very recent.
Right? I'm going with Australia. I'm probably wrong. I honestly have no idea.
Actually, I forgot the name of it. We have D, C, D,
Do we get to see the footage?
No.
Damn it.
Because I'll tell you why. Yeah, I can find it, but it sucks.
Oh, wait. Is this the one where the dude is driving and he's like not paying attention and the thing's running alongside of his like, oh, never mind.
No. But anyway, so the answer is D, correct.
Oh,
everybody seemed to know that. I'm surprised actually.
Yay.
So in Springbok National Park in Australia, and the reason they think it's the most credible footage, first of all, I don't know why. So there's footage. There's a program, a Bigfoot program. My dad did make me watch, but he wanted me to watch, and it was actually one of the best programs I've seen on Bigfoot in a long time. And they covered this, and they showed this footage, and it's thermal footage of two bipedal tall creatures by a tree. One bends down and picks something up. You could clearly see it's like this cone-shaped head and everything. And even though it's thermal imaging, you can't make out any details. The reason by what they estimate the height to be and the width and the size, the reason that they think it's the most credible is because you can rule out humans immediately just because of the size alone.
Right.
There's only two bipedal creatures in Australia, the kangaroo, and I can't think of the name of the bird. It looks like an emu. It's like a carol or callaway, or I don't know what the hell it's called, but that's it. And then there's also a lizard that sometimes walks on its hind legs.
I've seen that thing.
But there's no, aside from humans, there's no bipedal creatures. So after the analysis, like a lot of the experts,
it must be a Sasquatch.
It's totally something, it's
right?
out of the norm. And Springbok National Park is massive, but I do have some alleged footage also from Australia from that park that I can share, but it's not the same. For some reason, the footage that when you try and find the full video, like it's always cut off. They never show the guy bending over.
Don't you hate that?
It's
right?
like
give us the whole thing, man.
And I had sent it to a friend of mine, and it's not even in our message thread anymore. I'm like, what the hell happened? Why can't I watch this video? Like, why? It just was pissing me off.
Frightening Me says cassowary.
Cassowary, yeah. That's the name of the bird. But I do have this. Please hold.
Please hold the line.
Let me share my screen. This is footage also apparently from that park. Can you see this?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if I can't make it any bigger. Is it big enough?
Well, it's as big as it's gonna get. Yeah, they should be able to see it.
All right. You see it here in the middle?
What is that? Yeah. That thing is certainly lumbering.
And just like all Bigfoot videos, this ends way too early.
All right. I love TikTok, though. There's so much weird shit on TikTok.
Right.
If you know where to look. Have you seen the mermaid guy? Sauce 90.
But I mean, that's clearly a something, a
right?
person walking or a bipedal figure. Yeah.
It does not look like I don't know. He was lumbering like a
Right.
Sasquatch for sure.
Right.
For sure.
I find it very fascinating.
It is fascinating, sir. Fascinating, right?
So if you want to find it, just type in Springbrook National Park Yowie footage, and you can find some half-assed videos and like news reports of it on YouTube. But to find the full clip, somebody actually uploaded it onto YouTube, and I mean not YouTube, TikTok, and I can't find that TikTok anymore. It's like somebody removed it. So
imagine that.
But it's out there. You can see most of it, but the full footage where the thing bends over and picks something up, for some reason they
it's always cut off, right?
Yeah, like, the only part that makes it credible,
Oh, Frightening Me said, what cassowaries kill people from time to time, but Australia losing the Great Emu War is hilarious. Yes, listen, I learned about that not too long ago. Did we talk about that here?
I don't
Tyler,
know.
the Emu War,
remember.
like the people literally couldn't fight them off. Like they were bringing in like guns and shit. This was like during World War II, wasn't it? Frightening Me. When the emus overran like this whole part of Australia, and they couldn't even. There wasn't shit they could do. Like they were pissed. Those birds. Apparently, it was pretty funny. I thought it was a joke, but that was totally a thing. The Great Emu War in Australia.
Right. Somebody says the Patterson Gimlin video was way better. Yeah, that was actually analyzed in that program I watched also, and they have new technology. They were able to stabilize the footage and like get a lot more detail out of it, and it was like it's almost like conclusive, like it's not a person in a suit, but mainstream media would
tell you it was a person in a suit anyway.
Well, I looked it up I was on Google just seeing what they said about it today, and it's debunked across the board by mainstream. Like they've came out and whatever. Same with the no, maybe that's it. I don't want to give away
the
next question.
Of course. And it might have been World War I, Frightening Me. Right in the middle of emus attack. Yes, they did. They attacked. People couldn't fight them off. Not even with guns and tanks and shit. Like the emus were too much for them.
That's amazing.
Isn't that great? It was in 1932.
What did he say it was? Cassowaries?
The cassowaries. Like, yeah, they can get kind of pissed off.
Exactly like an emu.
Pissed off and vicious too, right? Emus attack. Yes, the Emu Wars. It's a real thing, guys. It's totally a thing, right? Speaking of weird things. So, Calvin Parker, a 68-year-old fisherman, he was abducted 50 years ago, claims that the aliens warned him about what? He's just talking about it now, but he claims that the aliens warned him about what? Was it A, the return of Jesus, B, an asteroid hitting the Earth, C, a plague followed by World War III, or D, an overthrow of the U.S. government?
Oh, what I thought it wasn't an option. Can you read those options again?
Yes. So Calvin Parker, a 68-year-old fisherman who was abducted 50 years ago, claims that the aliens warned him about what? Was it A, the return of Jesus, B, an asteroid hitting the Earth, C, a plague followed by World War III, or D, the overthrow of the U.S. government?
I'm gonna go with D, just because I want to manifest that timeline.
Right. You can't punch the emus in the face, man. I'm pretty sure they'll peck you to death.
You can a kangaroo though. Have you seen that footage with that guy?
That dude boxing that big ass roo? Yeah, no, I'm good.
Like attacking his dog, and he just and the kangaroo just stunned, like totally stunned.
They got that one video of the kangaroo, and he looks like he's been taking roids since the 80s.
Right.
Like he's like, oh hell no, I'm good. I'm good. Right.
Please don't be C. Frightening Me said.
Right. Yeah. So the answer is C.
The plague following World War III. Oh, so
a plague followed by World War III. No joke. Calvin Parker says he kept his visions to himself, but now he fears that they're becoming a reality, so he's been prompted to share them with the world, right? And this was published in the Mirror.
Technically, this is what's happening right now.
Well, this is the thing. He said, my time here on Earth is almost over. I don't want to leave here knowing that something, there could have been something I could have said to let people know. So this Calvin Parker was the guy, and I know that you guys are probably familiar with the case. This was the Pascagoula, Mississippi, when the UFO landed on the banks of the river and took the 2 fishermen. Like, it's actually a really famous abduction case, right? And so now he's coming out and he's saying that he was actually shown like horrific events. So Parker says that he was shown a plague that was caused by mankind, right? And he said this plague would kill millions, cause food shortages. People would be fighting and stealing each other's things just to survive. He said this is already going on, but it'll get worse. Family against family, friend against friend. He said there will be a time when it's impossible to trust anyone. This is what they told him. He then shared his vision of World War III in light of the tensions between Russia and Ukraine. He claimed that water supplies would be cut off, along with food shortages and toxic land so bad that no more crops would grow after the war. He said, I don't know.
And the Dollar Tree raising their prices.
That was the worst, right? $1.50 tree. He said, I don't know if it's a nuclear war or not, but it puts nations against nations. He said, there will not be a nation on earth that's not touched by this war. He said, I didn't come up with this on my own. This was not a figment of my imagination. This is what I saw, or should say what I was shown during my abduction experience. Now, Parker had underwent regressive hypnosis with Bud Hopkins, who is like the guy when it comes to regression, in UFO research, right? He said that a female alien scratched his eyes with her fingernails and strangled him after shoving her finger up his nose. So I don't know what the hell that was about, but this is what he said happened. During the taped hypnosis session, Parker said, she's evil, she's really evil, I can see destruction, I'm able to see things I've never seen before. Parker described his near-death experience as the best feeling he's ever had in this life. He claimed to have seen angels when his soul left his body before landing back into his physical form. He said, this is when my blood was drained out of me and then replaced with I still don't know what. And then they showed these things to me, things from the past, present, and future. And then he goes on to describe the plague, followed by World War III. So, wars and rumors of wars. Exactly, Grimy.
Talking about near death, you want to hear something crazy? I don't know all the details, but somebody I know, her husband passed away due to, I don't know if it was a jab or COVID or what. He was dead. They called her 9 hours later. He came back to life in the morgue. Popped up like a freaking scene.
This is somebody you know. This isn't like somebody told me who told me who told me.
I know. No, somebody I know. Yeah. He eventually did pass, but they had to call her and say, we don't know how to tell you this, but he's not dead. And she's like, what do you mean? Like, she's already been 9 hours into processing that she just lost her husband, and they call back and say he's still alive.
Do you know the fit I would throw?
And no, they did mark him down as COVID. It was almost like they were trying, like whatever they did, it was like we hear these stories, like they were almost murdered him. Like she's definitely investigating. Because it was she describes the way it all happened. He should not have died. And she was like, it was devastating anyway. But anyway, yeah.
I would throw a royal fucking fit over that. That is crazy, right? That is crazy. And I don't. Come on, man.
I don't know if I have all the details accurately right, but it's something along those lines that did definitely happen.
That's crazy. That is wild. That is wild. Yeah, Melody. So not good aliens for sure.
All right. What do I have? All right, here we go. After extreme weather conditions swept the nation in 2021, an online rumor began claiming that this diabolical millionaire was making fake snow that would burn instead of melt. A. Elon Musk. B. Jeff Bezos. C. Mark Zuckerberg. D. Bill Gates. After extreme weather conditions swept the nation in 2021, an online rumor began claiming that this diabolical billionaire was making fake snow that would burn instead of melt?
Oh
A.
Lord.
Elon Musk. B. Jeff Bezos. C. Mark Zuckerberg. D. Bill Gates.
I'm going with Gates because I blame him for a great many things. A great many things. Right? I mean, I blame the other ones too. Not so much Elon. Elon's kind of been on some kind of a gangster tip lately. Did you see him trying to fight Putin on Twitter? This was pretty great.
Yeah, I didn't see it. I read about it though.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And somebody else was like, "Stop drinking." He's like, "I am totally serious." And then for days, even started arguing with the guy that's in charge of Roscosmos, like their space, the head space guy in Russia. Like he was arguing back.
I,
The dude was like, "You got to fight me first," and Elon was like, "Boy, you push a hard bargain." Like,
wasn't Elon talking about like said something about who would support the Trump again if we brought Trump back and got gas prices to $1.27?
oh, he had posted a meme implying that
Okay, yeah.
this
I just
past
read
week.
somebody talking about it. Yeah. Um, yeah. Anyway,
Golden
the
Chris
answer
says, "Because I love Elon." I'm kind of a fangirl at this point. A little
the
bit.
answer is Bill Gates.
See? It's always Bill Gates. Just
Right.
like it's always the lizards, man. Probably
I
because
didn't
Bill Gates is a lizard,
I
right?
didn't save the article, so I don't have anything to read you. But at the very end of it, it said, "We assure you, this is not the case. This did not
Right?
happen."
Right. Well, listen, when that happened, like I had friends in Texas, right? Blue Canaries on Twitter, as a matter of fact, had sent me videos of her trying to burn the snow, and it didn't. It didn't
Right.
burn. Like,
Right. I've done the same thing up at East City. It literally melted and it smelled like burning plastic.
man, I saw 50. Listen, when I was working, 57 freaking debunks on this that that they were putting through on my screens. Like, this is why this isn't, this is why this isn't possible. This is how this could have happened. This is an explanation. Like, I'm like, bruh, just admit that there's bullshit in the freaking sky, and
Yeah.
you can't, it's ruining shit. Like, what do you want me to say? Like, I hate when they want me to fact check some shit that I just like. I'm not just gonna fact check what you tell me to do because that's how y'all think it should
Right.
be.
That's how
Like,
they operate.
you can
But
just send me back a quality check, I
well,
guess.
so in the East City area in particular, they chemtrail the shit out of that to so much to where a lot of the trees are starting to die mysteriously in that area because and when it rains, I've witnessed this. When it rains, the streets suds up like soap. It looks like
Ew.
soap running down the streets because of all the chemicals from the chemtrails, and it's killing the trees also. But when it snows there, so we took the snow and brought it in. I wanted to try it. We had it over the kitchen sink, and it starts turning. The snowball starts turning black, and it starts literally smelling like burning plastic to where you can't even breathe. You're like, oh shit! Like that is
Right, man?
not
Come on now.
like. And then if
Right,
you try and burn an ice cube, I'm sorry, it does not smell like burning rubber. It's a difference.
right. I see a couple people up three saying my snow did not burn in Washington. Amelia saying same in Oregon. Melody says, but did the snow spark in the microwave? Jimmy James, mine didn't melt and didn't make my bare hands wet. I don't know. There was a lot of weirdness with
I don't
that crazy ass snow last year for sure.
right, but
Right.
the MSN, it was MSN.com. Can assure you
Well, as
that
long as they said it, it must be true.
that Bill Gates was not creating fake snow.
Yeah. I love I love a good mainstream fact check. I like when they try to make I'll get a fact check on a fact check article and they want me to use the fact check article to fact check the fact check of the fact check article. It's freaking ridiculous. Like
Yeah,
thought circles, right? It's crazy. But hey, if
yeah,
MSN said it, it must be true. What do you
right.
want me to tell you? Right? I don't know. I don't know. All right. What former CIA pilot recently confirmed that the moon is a habitable place with over 240 million inhabitants? Okay. Was it A, Neil Hansen, B, John Lear, C, Robert Plumley, or D, Barry Seal?
B,
Final answer?
C.
Right? Bill Gates was not releasing good mosquitoes in southern Florida. No. No, he was not. All right. What up, woke?
But Bill
Bruh.
Gates might not have made the fake snow, but he probably funded it.
Man, listen, the whole dimming the sun shit and the mosquitoes, and he bought up all the farmland. And now, do you know he provides like 90%? His potatoes provide like 90% of McDonald's French fries.
I think I heard you say that before,
Yeah,
and that doesn't surprise me at all.
no, like, come on,
Another
like, just
reason
stop messing
genetic,
with shit, man.
right? Genetically modified mosquitoes. What?
Yeah, I can't even
Right.
with that. Like, I was so pissed when I saw the stuff in Brazil, and then like not even that long later, I'm like, they're planning on releasing them where? Here? Why would you do that? Like,
Right.
why? For what?
So what is the
Right?
answer?
So the answer is John Lear,
I knew
right?
that.
Dun dun dun. Right? He talked about this like on Coast to Coast. As a matter of fact, I think we have. There's some crazy pictures here, right? So John Lear is a retired CIA pilot. He's related to the, Lear Aerospace back in the day. And I mean, he talks all the time about the moon, Mars, extraterrestrial tech that's NASA's using. He claims to have discovered these strange structures on the moon's surface, and it has and had these images. Like, I don't know if this don't look like a damn satellite dish. And this looks like a damn castle here. I don't know what's going on, or like some sort of a temple. I mean, this clearly looks like an alien. Like, he's got all kinds of crazy stuff going on here.
Yeah.
So
Right.
apparently, in 1953, the alien spacecraft that they call EBE-3 crashed on Earth, and then the technology was taken by the Air Force. And they used it to build our advanced spacecraft. In 1962, using reverse engineering, they were able to kind of get ships that, even though they couldn't reach the speed of light, allegedly could reach the moon in an hour. They started to get stuff on Mars, which was apparently in 1966, according to Lear.
Mhm.
So what I thought was interesting, so they say, and in '66 they got to the surface of Mars, and now that we've explored most of the planets in the solar system, thank you, Kitty Woo, for the cookie. I appreciate Gold Pill, love you guys. And he's not the only one to talk about this. Henry Deegan, of course, David Wilcock has talked about this, but they talk at some point. They say in the photographs you can see a city, space base, streets, tubes, vegetation, atmosphere, 66% gravity compared to Earth. Thank you, Share Within, for the 600 gold pills. I love you. Mining operations, a nuclear reactor. They're also speculating. Many amateur astronomers have recently captured something resembling a holographic projection of the moon's surface. So maybe they are just projecting some sort of holographic screen that we see that we think is the moon's surface, but really we get up there and it's some whole nother other shit.
Right. Yeah. That's a good point.
I'd never really thought about that before. Like, maybe we're seeing a hologram.
If anybody wants to read the John Lear report, it's on journeytotruthpodcast.com.
Ooh, there you go. But yeah, I mean,
All
look.
of it. I scanned it all and put it all on there for anyone who wants to read it. It's 1987 and it totally is full.
Oh yeah,
disclosure.
right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Are the pictures in there in the report?
No pictures.
Well,
But he was a captain for U.S. Airline, has flown over 160 types of aircraft in over 50 different countries. He holds 17 world speed records in the Learjet and is the only pilot to ever hold every airline certificate issued by the Federal Aviation Administration. Former Nevada state senator, blah, blah. Anyway, he has all these credentials.
Respectable dude.
Right. And people, but the main theory is they're trying to say he's insane or crazy, but he has to be one of the most credible if you're going to go by credentials.
Yeah. I mean, people don't just purposefully be trying to tank their careers coming up with crazy stories. Like, somebody respectable like that is going to probably, you should listen when they have something to say. I mean, like, look at this stuff.
I'm going to read one thing he says. This is one sentence, 2 sentences.
Okay.
This is the first thing in there. I love it. The government of the United States continues to rely on your personal and professional gullibility to suppress the information contained herein. Your cooperation over the last 40 years has exceeded our wildest expectations, and we salute you. That was the note to the press.
Yeah, I mean, they have cooperated in the the scam reporting, sham wow craziness, lies that they tell us all the time. Thank you, Freeze One, for the can. I appreciate you. Yeah, so I mean, according to Lear, these are humanoid aliens, including the Greys. Apparently, despite the fact it says that the latter live beneath the surface in massive laboratories. And finally, apparently, Lear also said that Earth is a type of planet, is like a prison planet. A prison where punishments are administered, which explains a lot.
Yes.
It would explain a lot. But yeah, I like the hologram thing.
It makes that would make sense.
Like we look up there and we're seeing a projection. Like,
right.
Wait, what? Is it where Thor and Loki, like in the Marvel movie, there's a projection? They think they can't really see what's there. Am I tripping, guys? Like
no, you're not.
my movie references are probably a little off, but I thought it was something like that for sure. Man, ShamWows are amazing, by the way. Right? Especially the ShamWow commercials. I'm all about that. Right. Yes, Debbie Roush. When they fact check anything anymore, it's to stop info from getting out. Doesn't mean it's wrong or fake. Well, they pick, like, they'll pick one thing, like, Tim Pool uses the example all the time, like, Ian did a backflip on Sunday, but it was actually, at 11:59 on Saturday. So therefore this is wrong because it wasn't on Sunday. Like, that's kind of what happens.
Right, exactly. Just by having that label on there, if people don't look any further, they immediately think one or the other,
Yep. All the time.
All right, I have one last question.
Bring it.
A now abandoned town by the name of Ong's Hat in New Jersey was once believed to be the site where a group led by two scientists in the early 1980s were practicing what strange ability? A, levitation, B, interdimensional travel, C, invisibility, D, summoning UFOs. I'll read the question again.
Okay.
A now abandoned town by the name of Ong's Hat, ONGS Hat, in New Jersey was once believed to be the site where a group led by two scientists in the early 1980s were practicing what strange ability? A, levitation, B, interdimensional travel, C, invisibility, D, summoning UFOs.
I've heard of this place. Damn, and I don't know if it's B or D for life. No, they call it Ong's Hat because it's something weird, like a literal hat. And there's like a shack out there, and they were doing weird shit, but they were legit interdimensional. B. Going with B.
Final answer.
I think. Yes.
We got B, D, A, B, B, A. Okay. So the answer is B. Interdimensional travel.
Yes.
In the 1980s, a pamphlet was published saying that Ong's Hat was home to a group of people that practiced interdimensional travel. The pamphlet claimed that the group started when two scientists from Princeton University moved into the abandoned town and eventually made the egg, which allowed people to travel to alternate universes. According to the pamphlet, the machine transported the entire group to a different dimension to escape police investigation. The theory spread throughout the internet. Although some people have come forward to claim that this did not happen, there's no evidence that this group existed.
Yeah, well, listen, man, if I could run from the police via interdimensional travel, I would never have gotten in trouble in the first place, man. If only that was an option for me. Right?
It is. You just have to tap in.
Right. I could just zap right out of there like, you'll never catch me, coppers. Right?
That'd be like, that's the looper. That's not them escaping. They're being brought. Have you ever seen that movie?
Yeah, that's a good movie.
Yeah.
That's a good
movie. They're being brought to another time to be killed. Yeah.
Yeah,
so
that
there's
would
no
suck.
evidence of it.
That would suck for sure. Yes, ShamWow. Define fractal. All right, we'll do one more.
Uno más, por favor.
Uno más. Okay. I didn't know about this either. Nunavut, Canada, Kangerlussuaq, Greenland, and the Gursel River in Deltona, Alaska have what in common? Okay. Nunavut, Canada, Kangerlussuaq, Greenland, and the Gersel River in Deltona, Alaska have what in common? Is it A, they host extraterrestrial beacons, B, they host CIA black sites, C, the populations were decimated by a mysterious plague, or D, they have the highest percentage of abduction cases anywhere on the globe?
B.
Final answer?
Yeah.
Okay. You guys over there going off about Tim Pool on Foxhole, Milk Toast Fence Sitter? Right? I'm just saying, he uses that example and it makes sense. You know?
My brother's sending me pictures from the Tool concert. He had
I love Tool.
he had an extra ticket. Wanted to know if I wanted to go tonight, but I was committed to.
Oh, well, thank you.
yeah.
I can't believe you would skip Tool to hang out with us here. Thank you for that.
I'm not big on. They got the whole
What?
Vex card thing, and
Oh, well, that's, yeah.
you know what I mean. Like
Damn.
right. Yeah.
Now I feel some kind of way.
Oh no, I wasn't gonna go even if we didn't have this. I don't. I'm staying away from all mass crowds of people. I quit
Man.
going. I had to start working out at home. I don't even go to the gym because I feel like that was like a shedding frenzy. And every
Oh,
time
I
I was going,
understand.
every time I was going, I was getting sick. I'm like, I'm just
Right?
yeah. Anyway, go ahead. What's the answer?
So it is actually A. They host extraterrestrial beacons. And I know this sounds crazy, right?
What does that mean?
Okay,
They
so listen.
host like they home. Okay, the house.
Yeah, they have allegedly these extraterrestrial beacons. So there are all of these places on Google, on Google Map or Google Earth that are blacked out. This is the weirdest thing, right? Ramstein Air Force Base, the HARP site, obviously, Babylon in Iraq. We can't know where Alexei Miller, the head of Gazprom, lives. The Kiwala Dam, whatever, Volkel Air Base. Like, there are all these places that Google Earth just hides from us. Well, one of these places is Baker Lake, Nunavut in Canada, and there's this weird 30-mile long, and I don't know if you can see it yet. I have it up on the screen. 30-mile long, blacked out box on there, right? So what, according to conspiracists, okay, there are all three of these places have monoliths there. 30-mile long monoliths, right? That were allegedly there from 1972, and then they disappeared in 2007. I don't know. Google blacked some out. 30-mile long monoliths, right? Like damn. That one movie, with Hal. Why can't? Oh, Space Odyssey, right? Couldn't think of it.
I was gonna say, you're doing a good job describing that. Yeah.
Man, yeah. So 30-mile long monoliths. There are rumors in Nunavut, Canada, that aliens actually live in the lake. That's right here, right in this Baker Lake. Apparently, aliens live in the lake. And the government is covering up all this information. So apparently, these beacons can generate these powerful electromagnetic fields. They don't reflect light, which is a weird thing. It absorbs all incoming electromagnetic energy. They only emit energy if they are programmed to do so. So they're like a black hole almost. Like it even sucks in photons and so I don't know. There's an argument as to whether or not this is what it looks like if Google just put this black strip over it, but it's in all three places. And apparently these are alien beacons, guys. I don't know. But it is interesting the shit that Google Earth will hide from us.
Yeah.
Right? Like this guy's house. Like, I remember when this happened. I know you can't see it on the screen. This dude, as a matter of fact, I was in the area at the time. This guy kept women captive in his house, for years. They black out his house on Google. I didn't know every Colonel Sanders face is apparently blacked out.
So
it's weird.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
But
who knows?
So there, have you heard of the Stargate that you can in Antarctica that you can see from Google Earth?
No.
Yeah, so it looks, it's inconclusive, but if you get close enough to it, it's blurry, but it looks exactly like a Stargate that you would see in like SG1 or something.
Love
like
that show.
So anyway, some guy like I forget the name of the channel, but he he's always breaking down the ley lines and how all these sites are connected, and he's trying to like map out the portal system and all that stuff. Well, he followed this line. He was connecting dots from the Stargate to like UFO sightings and specific sites until he got all the way to somewhere in Brazil, I think, where he's been tracking this for years, and he literally came into a spot in the middle of the woods that has a perfectly shaped pentagon shit cut out, and there's I forget what he described was going on there, but there's some event that apparently took place there, and now there's a perfectly shaped pentagon there, and he measured it, and it's the exact dimensions of the courtyard dimensions of our pentagon. So like the inner courtyard, that's the size of this pentagon in Brazil. And he went back to Google Earth like the year before.
Right.
Wasn't there. It just popped up. It wasn't there. It was just woods. And then the Pentagon's cut out this year, all of a sudden in the middle of the woods in Brazil.
Man, that's wild.
Right.
Always some wild shit, man. Yeah, I rewatch SG-1 routinely, Sarah, just so you know. Well, actually, the whole Stargate series. That's one of those shows like Fringe and X-Files that I will just binge watch as I'm sitting here working over and over and over again. Let me go over and do the scratching for Foxhole. If you got any more gold pills you want to throw your girl, now's the time. I'm about to go do the scratching for you guys. I see Paranormies. I don't know what that's about. It's a new channel, probably something cool. If you guys want to go over and check it out, I see they're live. Tell them I sent you.
We'll start a channel called the Emu Wars.
The Emu Wars, right? Yeah, Apocalypse World News, guys. Make sure you check that out. That's going to be interesting.
Apocalypse World News.
Yeah.
The way you said it.
Apocalypse World News.
You should.
Right?
Can we play the other one too before we end the original?
Do you guys want to see the?
Let's just do it for fun. Can we
Yes.
please play that?
Yes, we can. We can. I'm going to go to my channel and pull it up because it's freaking awesome and it's short. Do you have anything coming up this week that you want to announce? No.
No, but I do want to remind everybody that there are tickets still available if you want to come to the conference. It's going to be a lot of fun. Yuvonda's going to be there with her wand. I don't know how many people in the chat. I know a couple people are going to be there. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, May 2nd through 5th, Grafton, Illinois, secretspaceconference.info. The link is in the description below. Check it out. Guys, I love you for being here, and I'm going to go ahead and show you this super awesome original cut of the Apocalypse World News promo. Fortuna. Dun 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 dum dum dun 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 dum dum dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Apocalypse World News.
Apocalypse World News.
Hell yeah, it just makes me laugh every time.
What makes it is the way you say
Apocalypse World News, right?
If what I really want to do is play the original message that you sent me so people can hear that, because it was all, I pulled them all out of the, you're like, and then the ending, you can have this flash, and then it can say Apocalypse World News.
It's ridiculous. All right, guys. Well, we love you. We'll be back here next week. Obviously, keep an eye out for any videos that I might be able to put up. In the interim, I did the Russia video. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's up on my channel. And until next time.
Good night, guys.
All right. I'm glad you guys appreciate that video. I thought it was pretty freaking funny.
We still live?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah,
no, that
gonna
was.
let the music play for a minute.
It's how do you not laugh at that? Like when I was making it, I was laughing. I'm like, this is great.
I did not expect that. I did when you sent it to me. I was like, what? Like, what is happening?
The first thing you said was, "You best take my voice
yeah,
out
boy,
of it."
If you don't get my voice up off of that damn shit.
And then you're like, wait a second, this is funny.
Yeah, we're like, wait a minute. This is actually pretty awesome. We're gonna put that on my channel.
Hungry all
Caesar salad wraps.
Oh,
See, yeah, in my, yeah, I know they're delicious.
I'm just kind of in the mood for a sandwich.